Hello, private practice owners. This is Lisa Wozniak with Woz Marketing. And today I am joined by Becky Frazier of Focus for Growth. Becky is a coach and consultant with the International Coaching Federation. Now, Becky is passionate about cultivating the conscious and confident decision making for those who are expanding their business or their career. Through coaching, she helps you find the clarity you want for the next steps and reveals the beliefs and perceptions blocking you from your greatest success. Welcome, Becky. Thrilled to have you here today.
Thank you. It's great to be here for sure. Thanks for inviting me.
Oh, my pleasure. As I mentioned at the top of the program, you've got a really unique approach to how you show up for people in the marketplace and who your target market is and how you help them that I really wanted folks to be able to glean some information from. So I'm going to go ahead and jump right in and start asking you questions on who you are and what you do. So I know that you help folks with the decision-making process in their business and in their leadership. But how did you decide upon your specialty niche? And it's pretty unique. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. So before my pure coaching life, I was also in human resources for over 15 years. And there were a lot of things that I was seeing happening in business decision making, the strategizing, and even individual contributors at all levels. People would have a difficult time, some people would have difficult times making decisions and moving them forward. So they might be procrastinating, they might just be, kind of choosing based upon what other people were sharing with them, or they might just be resisting change. And so the way to delay that change was to hold off on making a decision, because if I don't decide, then I don't need to move it forward. And there are a lot of other reasons that those kinds of things might happen. But what I found is, as I was talking to people about what was keeping them from making a decision, they started to say, oh, well, that's not the reason I want to stop myself from making a decision. And when I started my coaching practice, I really wanted to support people in that thought process.
When you think about your target market, it's not necessarily branded by a specific industry, but more personality traits?
Absolutely. Many people justifiably target their niche as a function or as an industry type of focus. And I could narrow it down farther by doing that, certainly. And I'm really looking for people who are sitting in a situation and thinking, things are okay, but they're really not perfect. They're not great. I feel like there's more I could do. Or there might be saying, I'll never be really happy, or I don't feel completely successful, despite all of the information around them that other people might think that they're successful. So it's this character trait. It's this personality piece where they're striving to do that next level for themselves, or supporting others in doing that really draws me to say, how can I help you do that?
What are some of the more specific ways that you can help them through that?
Well, I do have a couple of different assessments that periodically I bring in. So I have an attitudinal assessment that I might use. I have character value prioritization and things along that line. And I also actually use an emotional intelligence process, and we're able to diagnose things that way. More frequently, what I find is that we go through the process of conversation, and I'm listening very intently to what they're not saying in addition to what they are, and helping them recognize all of those different pieces that they might just throw away as, oh, well, isn't everyone like that? Because you need to know what you want before you can actually go and get it. And when you feel within yourself that, yes, this totally makes sense and I'm ready to do this, that also increases your confidence in going to get it. So those are the two key things that I'm always looking for them to build up, is this idea of, I do know where I'm going to go. Therefore, I can take the actions to go get it. I'm not waffling on that anymore. And I'm also confident because I actually believe in me. I know I can do it.
That impacting them?
A couple of different ways, honestly. One of the pieces when I'm working with small business leaders or entrepreneurs, it's a tough thing, particularly when you're in business for yourself and you may not have all of those sounding boards and you're talking to your wall, talking to your pets and things along that line to come to conclusions. Turns out walls and pets don't give a lot of feedback and don't help you really sort through that, funny enough. And one of the things that I find is even saying it out loud really helps my clients start to narrow in and say, you know, I thought that for I don't know how long, but then I said it out loud and I make sense. How awesome is that? And so they're able to move forward and get that confidence that way. From a career perspective, again, it goes back to this idea of where other people give you an opportunity on a particular project or a particular promotion, or these are the career paths that are available to you. Well, it's actually pretty interesting that once you start creating that vision for what you want for yourself, you start to identify those opportunities to fulfill that desire. And so my clients find themselves in a situation where they're saying, I'm actually aiming higher than I would have on my own.
That's fantastic. So with confidence comes action, right?
Often, absolutely. When your head isn't aligned with your heart is when we stall, when we hesitate, when we procrastinate. When your head and your heart are in alignment, that's actually when you start to see that traction and that action.
One piece of advice would you give to people who tend to be kind of like frozen and stuck in their inability to act? What one piece of advice would you give them to move forward?
One of the things that I think is really important in that moment is knowing which one is stuck. Is your head stuck because you're spiraling and you're doing analysis paralysis, which many of us can do on occasion? But your heart's in the right place and your heart's really motivated to do it and your head is just not kind of calculating the path. The other side of it is sometimes we know what we need to do. Excuse me. And what happens is that we're afraid or we're uncertain. And knowing where you're stuck is frequently half the battle because now you can narrow your focus into those areas where you can get the most traction.
So powerful. Absolutely so powerful. Becky, where can people go to learn a little bit more about you and what you do and how you're helping people?
So I have a website, focusforgrowth.com. And also, I'd invite anyone to reach out to me on LinkedIn as well. Becky, B-E-K-I, Fraser, F-R-A-S-E-R. Search me out, find me, connect to me, tell me, how we might be able to build a relationship together. I'd love to be connected to people.
That's fantastic. Well, thank you so much for stopping by today and chatting with us about the ability of leaders and decision makers to actually make those decisions. It's been a really powerful learning lesson, and I appreciate your time. This is Lisa Wozniak with Woz Marketing, helping you navigate your yellow brick road. Have a great day.